Good afternoon. The Transport Secretary has denied claims that plans for a high-speed rail network linking London to Birmingham could be scrapped. The service would cut travel times from Birmingham to London to 49 minutes, with construction due to begin by 2026. But last week, an unnamed minister was quoted in The Spectator magazine, saying the £33 billion project had no future. Dwan Riddle reports.
It's the latest twist in the controversy surrounding the high-speed rail link. But Transport Secretary Justine Greening says reports that it won't happen are false.
I think the reality is that we are passionate about getting on with High Speed 2. We know it's badly needed. I know that we need to have it done in time for when that capacity crunch happens in the mid-2020s. But at the same time, I really understand that there'll be many communities that it passes through that it affects.
Jerry and Sue Marshall's home in the Warwickshire village of Burton Green could be at risk. Jerry chairs the action groups against High Speed 2.
Well, she would say that, and it was a long time before that came out. But clearly the scheme needs a complete rethink because the business case has completely fallen apart. There is no great capacity need, and it's been rated amber red by the Major Projects Authority.
Meanwhile, villagers here have made a film campaigning for a deep bore tunnel.
Welcome to our village, Burton Green.
Whether you agree with the construction of this train or not, people have to realise that its impact.
Rona Taylor, a villager here for the last 37 years, is narrator. What makes you a special case for a deep bore tunnel rather than any other village affected by this?
The fact that in this village, the plans for HS2 take the line straight through the middle of the village, with almost 30 houses facing compulsory purchase and hence destruction.
The film will be premiered at the Village Hall tonight. The Burton Green HS2 Action Group also plan to send it to ministers, MPs and even the Prince of Wales. Joanne Riddle, BBC Midlands Today, Burton Green.
Well, joining me in the studio now is our political editor, Patrick Burns. So, Patrick, the Transport Secretary seemed to quash any rumours that HS2 might not go ahead.
I think, Katie, she could hardly say anything else, could she really? Not after David Cameron had reaffirmed his enthusiasm for the project. And the boss of HS2 Limited, the development company, told a group of MPs this week that it was full speed ahead and 500 consultants were working together on the project. And remember, this does still command this unique, broad three-party consensus at Westminster. Nevertheless, as we've been hearing, campaigners, particularly along the route through Warwickshire, are convinced that the business case has collapsed, and they say that's why the Treasury has got cold feet.
So, will it go ahead one way or another? I
think the key test comes next spring with next year's Queen's speech, because remember, it was when it failed to appear in this year's that two publications editorially hostile to HS2, the Sunday Telegraph and the Spectator magazine, set off this firestorm of speculation about it. Now, the government say it never was going to be in this year's Queen's speech. Were it not to be in next year's, I think that would call into question whether the government can get it onto the statute book well before the next general election, because I think the thing we can be clear about is that the Conservatives particularly want this issue resolved one way or the other, for good or ill, before the next election, because they don't want rebellion in the shires going into polling day.
Patrick, thank you very much.